on the D&M Leasing Hotline. The great Brent Severyn, Victory Plus Stars analyst, our good friend, our hockey friend. Good morning, brother. How are you today?
I am doing good, fellas.
Listen,
how are we doing today? You guys ready to talk some hockey?
Listen, we talk.
Is it that time of the year, eh?
There you go.
I told you, Chop.
We are talking to you before April. We should get a pat on the back for this.
Really? You know, there's been a few games before this call that's been going on. I'm just asking because oh man. But okay, no, seriously, good to see you guys. Good talk to you. I mean,
great to talk to you,
my
man.
pleasure.
Yeah, great to talk to you as well. A lot of news going on. You know, the mini break here that they got, a couple of days off. It's rare for you hockey guys to get a couple of days off like this in the middle of a season. But let's get your initial take on the Mikko deal. What does he bring to the Stars?
Oh, boy. Yeah, we heard his name about 2 weeks before the deadline. It started to come out that he might be available or he wasn't going to sign with Carolina or they're looking to trade him. And, obviously our ears perked up here in Dallas. And Jim Nill has a way of finding these players or being able to bring them in and make the deal. And you talk about a guy, he's 28 years old. He's big. He's burly. He is your prototypical player. If you were to build a playoff player, this is the guy you would build. He's got experience. He's big. He can dish the puck. He can score. He can work your power play. Like, it's amazing. He does it all. And for Jim Nill to be able to bring him in and then sign him to that big contract, it's pretty amazing. And there was a high price to it, obviously with the first-round pick and the Stamkos, and that had to go the other way. But, man, he made his team so much better. And the depth that they have and the ability to battle in playoffs and have 3 or 4 lines coming at you. It's very exciting for us that do follow hockey quite a bit that they brought him in and supplements what the Stars have right now. So it's the perfect player to insert at this time of year for what he can do in playoffs and also what he can do in the regular season to get you there.
How much of a question was there? Do you think there was an evaluation of the, I guess, the culture fit? Because, obviously there were a lot of people who ended up having a sour taste in their mouth from the Carolina period.
Yeah.
Is that an issue, you think, where the Stars did their homework on that and said, look, this is a unique situation for him, that this is not a bad fit for us here in this locker room. It's just that was not the right situation for him.
Yeah, and that's what I found out when I was with the Stars here when they won the Cup. You have to have a tight room, and everybody has to mesh with it. You can't have people in there that will disrupt a locker room like the Stars have now. Everybody you talk to, and whenever you're in there, everybody tells you how tight it is, and it has to be, because when hits the fan in playoffs, you've got to pull together. You can't rip yourselves apart. And most Finnish guys are very humble guys, and they obviously did their homework, and they know, that the plethora of guys that the Stars have, Finnish guys that they have, obviously know this player. They know about him. Jari Lehtinen obviously works over in Finland, and he knows all these players, and he obviously would have talked to Jim Nill. So there was no question that this is a good fit, a good guy, a team player on top of all the skill that I just talked about. So it is real important that you know the guy and the type of personality he is and how he's going to fit in the room. From what I've seen from a Stanley Cup winning team, I know it's vital. Even when the Stars brought me in as a fourth-line fighter, they flew me in, and I met with everybody. I talked to the general manager. I talked to the coaching staff. I talked to some of the players. Then they sent me away, and they reevaluated to make sure I was a good fit, that I wouldn't break up the room, or I was a good team guy. So I would assume they would do the same thing, even though Mikko is just a highly skilled, like I said, probably the best player you could have at the trade deadline, as well as a prototypical playoff player. You still have to make sure that he has the chemistry and being able to fit in with the team. So that's a great question because it is vital.
Sevy, how long does it take generally a player to get up to speed? You got to tinker with line combinations middle of the year like this. It's not like baseball where you just throw them in the lineup. It's like see ball, hit ball. Like, how long does it take to get up to speed with a new team?
So you're saying hockey is a little more complex than other sports?
I do. I do think it might be a little more complex than baseball.
Sport.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Thank you very much. Yeah. A lot of the systems are the same. There's small tweaks. There's things that you want to do, but those high-skilled players, if you guys watch the first game with Mikko, like he's dishing the puck, he's finding open areas. He worked fine with that top line with Robertson and Hintz. There was no issue. And there's small little things as they go through the video, as you work into your team. But a high-skilled guy like that, especially the coaching staff, they know what he brings. They've done the video work on him. They understand what kind of player that he can play with. And it just worked. It's just worked. So with a guy as skilled as him, there's not much lead time. Obviously, you want the chemistry to flow with the other lines, and people are moving around. That's the thing in professional sports, especially hockey. They ask about adding players and subtracting players. It's such an everyday occurrence for guys that have played or the team that's there right now. When people are coming in and out of the lineup, it really doesn't affect too much with the chemistry, right? Look, you take out Miro, Heiskanen, Stars still continue to win. Seguin gets hurt and has surgery. He still continue to win. Marchman went down. Stars still continue to win. So why is that? It's because they have this great depth that you need when you're entering playoffs. So now that the Stars are hopefully going to get guys back when playoffs come around in Miro and Seguin, it makes them even better, and the chemistry is always going to be there, and you can always shuffle line. That is continually happening in a game if it's not working out. When things are going well, they stick with the lines, they keep moving. But when things are not working and the coach reads that, every minute of the game, he'll maybe move one guy or two guys or blow the whole thing up. So it's easy for guys to adapt throughout the game, throughout a season. So it's not such a big deal that people are coming in and out of the lineup. And again, another reason why hockey's great. Please, next question.
Talk with Brent Severyn here on 105.3 The Fan. Okay, so Sevy, when we look at just the big go for it type of move here with Mikko, and I mean, you're talking, they get an extension, so I mean, this is not something that's just a short-sighted small move here. How much courage does that take, though, from a guy like Jim Nill to look at the way the Stars have been the last couple of years and say, hey, this is still a good hockey team, but willing to make that kind of a shakeup to say, we've got an opportunity to do something bigger here, let's just go for it?
Yeah, and that's kind of what happened when you hear him talk about it on his interviews. He said, he's looking, they wanted to put in a small piece or help this or kind of just enhance some of the lines or maybe, but all of a sudden he gets a call a couple of weeks ago and it says Mikko Rantanen is available. So now his whole mindset changes. And he gave a lot of credence to the coaching staff and the players for getting them in a situation that would not force him, but allow him to make this big move and add a piece to go for, because it's such a rare thing to have a team the way the Stars have been working and kind of chipping in, doing great things in playoffs, getting deep in playoffs, but not being able to win that final series. You add a piece like that, it gives your team an opportunity, and they put some money on the line. They had to move a big piece in Stankoven and some draft picks. So, yeah, he's going for it. He understands the situation. He understands where it is with the Stars. And for the organization, this was the best move he could make. And it came at a big cost. But I think overall, we're excited. I get to call some great games now. We're fired up to see what happens. And when playoffs start, it's going to be interesting because if you guys watch the game tomorrow, this Winnipeg Jets team, they are an absolute wagon. So everything that I just talked about with the Dallas Stars, we can start to say about this Jets team, because I've watched 3 or 4 of their games now, and they are a team to be reckoned with. They're big, they're strong, they're nasty. So even if playoffs roll around and the Stars have this great team, you don't know, because you got other teams out there that are just as strong. So that's why the game tomorrow is going to be intriguing, and then stepping into playoffs, the Stars have to be at their best, and that chemistry you guys just talked about, the skill, the depth, goaltending, it all has to come in alignment, and if it does, we'll be looking at another Stanley Cup for this team.
Sevy, do you trust Hellebuck in a big spot? That's kind of his issue, right?
It is, and that's the question, right? You don't know till it's there, but man, I'm telling you, you watch that guy game in and game out, and that's the knock. When the pressure's on, when things get a little hairy, can you be there? And that's where Eddie Belfour, Patrick Waugh, all these goaltenders that have won Stanley Cups, they have that edge. They have that focus. They have the ability to make that key save when it's necessary, not allow a little cheesy one to come in at times. So that's the key, right? For the Stars, does their defense have what it takes? Are they able to play strong defensive hockey? Is Ottinger going to have another great series or series, 4 of them, to get to the Stanley Cup and win? Who knows? And that's why we watch the sport. And Hellebuyck, though, right now, you look, he's got 38 wins or something. Like, he, again, is on fire as well. That whole team, that whole Jets team, you would expect them to be one of the favorites moving forward. And the key, obviously, will be as Hellebuyck, can he stop the puck at the most opportune time?
You know, you've already mentioned here, Sevy, the fact that they've been without Seguin, they've been without Miro. We recently saw the brief scare with Hintz. It looks like he'll be coming back here just after about a week or so. Just give us a general injury update on where things stand with those three and the long-term outlook as they ramp up for the playoffs.
Yeah, for Rope, obviously, it's good news that, and it was good news for me to hear him. He flew back on the plane. They have to obviously watch the eye. He got hit above the eye and the swelling from there. No long-term effects. And, back in the day, we would have probably been back a little sooner, but they're more cautious these days. It's funny because I do talk. People are asking me about Rope and taking one in the face. And I don't know the extent of what he has, but, I broke my nose in practice, and guess what I did? You don't flinch. You put some stuffing in it. You finish the practice. Then you go get it fixed. And then with the full cast on, you're practicing the next couple days. That's the way it was. They're a lot smarter these days with that and their injuries, as they should be. So, but he'll be back, and there's no problem. For Miro, he's obviously, I believe he did not have surgery. He's going to be back at playoff time. And Seguin was skating last week and getting ready for the playoffs as well. So both of those guys look like they will be available at the time. Time will tell, obviously, with the injuries and whether they can recover quick enough. But it seems to be good news all around. And like I said, if they start without them, yeah, it's going to be a little bit of a blow. But hopefully the depth that the Stars do have can carry them through. And maybe the second round you get both those guys back. So they don't exactly share every detail about those injuries, but that's what we're hearing.
Wait, you mean hockey teams are vague on injuries? They gave Rope an upper body injury. I'm like, we all saw where it was.
Don't get me started. I know it's ridiculous, and it's also with coaches don't want to tell you who the starting goalie is.
Really?
They don't. Yeah, they just don't. They don't want to yet. It's always the first goalie off. And I've been in professional hockey now for how many years? 30 years maybe. It's never changed. The first goalie off. It was only one time that it surprised me, and a goalie got it. So, but they will not tell you. You got to find out on your own. So it's one of those silly things that they do, posturing, if you will. And the injury thing really drives me crazy as well.
Hey, Sevy, this was great. Maybe we'll do it again here in a couple of weeks when the playoffs roll around.
I cannot believe it. I will get maybe twice this month. I'll get to talk hockey with you guys.
Yeah, ideally.
Oh, you guys are killing me right now. This is great.
We're going to use this up. Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
I know. I got the call last night or whatever that you guys were going to talk to me, and man, I've had a smile since.
Yeah.
All right.
Have a good one, man. We'll talk to you later.
Thanks, guys. Enjoy. See you. Bye-bye.